MLB fans who only own the Nintendo Switch have been pretty much given the shaft over the past couple of years when it comes to licensed MLB Baseball games. Now, while the devs behind RBI Baseball tried their best, and I really do think that they got better and better over time, I think a lot of baseball fans either chose to go without MLB licensed baseball on the Switch, or just they moved on to another platform. Now, after years in the making, MLB The Show is finally coming to the Nintendo Switch with The Show 22, which is the topic of discussion today. Danny from the Famicast here. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. Sound off in the comments down below, and we may read it out in our bi-weekly show called the Famicast. Today, though, we're taking a look at MLB The Show 22 on the Nintendo Switch. In this preview, we're going to be talking about release info, what to expect when it comes to performance, and much more. Now, getting MLB The Show on the Switch has been a few years in the making, dating all the way back to late 2019. Now, at the time, if you remember, Sony announced that the series would be coming to non-Sony platforms. Now, of course, Xbox was a given here, but when Nintendo of America responded to the tweet with a baseball emoji, baseball-loving Switch fans really had something to be excited about. And it may have taken its sweet time, but it's almost here. The Show 22 is set to hit on April 5th on all platforms. Now, this year's cover athlete is none other than the sensational Shohei Ohtani. Now, not only that, but the Digital Deluxe and the MVP editions of the game feature Ohtani in this anime manga aesthetic. It's actually designed by Takashi Okazaki, who is best known for Afro Samurai. Now, in terms of these versions on the Switch, there's only going to be the standard version and the Digital Deluxe version, which are going to be coming out here. Purchasing the Digital Deluxe version on the Switch will actually grant you a number of in-game goodies and all that type of stuff, as well as 4 days early access to the game, which would make it available on April 1st. Now, in terms of download size and how much space you're going to need on your Switch, the Switch version of the game will be a 16.6 gigabyte download on the eShop. Now, if you're opting to pick up the physical version of the game, I mean, you could definitely do that, at least in North America. It doesn't look like it's going to be coming out in Japan, but we're kind of waiting on some information about that. But again, for those picking up the physical version, the full game will not be included on the cart. There wasn't any specific number given about how much will be included, but you will be required to do some kind of an additional download. For comparison to one of the other realistic baseball sims on the Switch, the Japan-only Pro Yaku Spirits 2021, which came out obviously last year, that clocked in at 6.5 gigabytes. And speaking of Japan, the Japanese release of the game will not feature a Japanese localization. Well, I know this doesn't really matter to many of you guys out there. I thought this was kind of interesting. And it might seem a little bit weird, considering if the game is actually getting an official Japanese release, that this wouldn't be included, but this is something that gamers in Japan have had to deal with pretty much every single year. Now, to kind of combat this, MLB does provide some translation guides with every release of the game that can be downloaded from the web so people can get started. I mean, they have a really kind of a simple thing kind of outlining the modes, and then they have actually all of the dialogue translated from Road to the Show, which is pretty ridiculous. We're talking hundreds of pages of dialogue and stuff like that, really tiny text. So that was something. Now, in an interesting twist, and perhaps to kind of reconfirm my suspicions that the RBI Baseball series is dead, MLB Advanced Media, MLB AM, the same team that has been responsible for publishing the RBI series, has taken on the publishing duties for MLB The Show 22 on the Switch. Now, this might not come as a surprise, seeing as MLB also took on publishing duties for the show on Xbox last year and this year. So yeah, there's that. The PlayStation version will still be published by Sony themselves. Now, in terms of modes and all that type of stuff, all the modes found in the PS4 and Xbox One versions of the game will also be available on the Switch version. Diamond Dynasty, Road to the Show, Online Play, and more. They're all here. Both cross-platform play and cross-progression are fully supported here too. So if you want to go from playing in handheld mode on your Switch to playing the game in 4K on a PS5 or Xbox Series X, I mean, you can do that. You just need to obviously have 2 copies of the game, or in the case of Xbox, have an active Game Pass subscription. Now, unfortunately, you will not be able to create or play in stadiums from the Stadium Creator. Those are just limited to the next-gen versions of the game. Now, it seems to me that MLB The Show, as a series, has always been kind of known for pushing the envelope when it comes to visual fidelity. Now, while I think this will definitely be the case with 22, especially with PS5 and Xbox Series console versions, I think the Switch version will obviously see some concessions. I don't think you have to be a genius to realize that. Now, for another similar simulation-style baseball game, let's look no further than Konami's Pro Baseball Spirits. Now, the game saw a great-looking release on the PS4 in 2019, but at the same time, it saw a Vita version, which was obviously downgraded, so you could even see a difference there. Fast forward to last year, and Konami skipped out on the PlayStation entirely to focus on the Switch. Now, in Pro Spirits 2021, the game still looks great on the platform, but there are some noticeable differences when compared to versions of the game on more powerful hardware. Now, on the Switch, the character models look pretty detailed, stadiums look great, everything overall looks fantastic, but I mean, at the same time, you know, some of the smaller details, such as like team logos or more minute details on uniforms, they get a little bit blurry or low poly, like when you kind of really get up close and investigate that stuff. You know, I expect something similar with the Show 22. I mean, things will look great from a distance, but if you get really close up, you're definitely going to notice some lower quality assets. But overall, just kind of based on San Diego Studios' prowess and their reputation and stuff like that, I think we're still going to have a pretty good looking game on the Switch. As for when we'll actually be able to see this game in action, I wouldn't expect that until closer to the launch, possibly via like a Nintendo Direct. Hopefully we won't have to wait until the game is actually released to be able to get our first look at it, but that is a realistic possibility. Now, like many of you, I'm sure, I'm really excited to finally get a chance to play MLB The Show on the Switch. Now, obviously, if you're looking for visual fidelity, there are other places to play the game. Now, if you're looking for the option to be able to play the game on your TV and then play it on the go, the Switch version is something that you should definitely be excited about. But let's turn things over to you guys. Are you planning to pick up the show on the Switch? Will this be your first time playing through the series, or are you some kind of grizzled vet out there? Be sure to sound off in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you like what you see, please feel free to drop this video a like. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to subscribe. We've got tons of podcasts, video reviews, looks at baseball games just like this, and a whole lot more. Again, this is Danny from the Famicast. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.